The story of Michael Bisping Part 6. The man with one eye. The pattern had become sickening. Win a few, get to the edge of greatness, and then lose the one that mattered. After the loss to Anderson Silva, Bisping had rebuilt himself again. He won 4 straight fights, putting himself right back in line for a title shot. And again, he was matched up in a #1 contender fight, this time against Chael Sonnen. And again, in a painfully close fight, he lost. He was the eternal gatekeeper, the man who was good enough to be near the top, but never good enough to be on it. Then, in January 2013, he was given another chance. He would fight a Brazilian legend named Vitor Belfort in Brazil. Belfort was a terrifying fighter, known for his explosive power and lightning-fast hands. But there was something else about Belfort. He was on a controversial but legal program called testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. Many fighters, including Bisping, felt this was a legalized form of cheating, allowing older fighters to have the strength and aggression of a man in his 20s. Bisping was loud about his disapproval. This made the fight personal. The first round was tense. Bisping was using his usual sharp, technical striking. Belfort was hunting for a single, massive shot. Then, in the second round, it happened. Belfort unleashed a perfect, blistering high kick with his left leg. It wrapped around Bisping's defense and connected clean with the right side of his head. Bisping collapsed. Belfort followed up with punches on the ground, and the fight was over. Another TKO, another lost opportunity. But this loss was different. In the locker room after the fight, Bisping knew something was terribly wrong. His vision in his right eye was cloudy. He saw strange flashes of light. When he flew home, the doctors gave him the devastating news. The force of the kick had caused a detached retina in his right eye. This was not a normal injury. It was a career-ending, life-altering catastrophe. Michael Bisping, a fighter who relied on his sharp boxing and timing, was going blind in one eye. He underwent his first surgery. Then a second, and a third. He spent months in recovery, his career in ruins. The doctors told him he should never fight again. The world, they said, was not designed for a one-eyed fighter. He fell into a deep, dark depression. He was 34 years old, and the only thing he had ever been good at was being taken away from him. He had 2 choices. He could retire, as every doctor and expert advised, and be remembered as the guy who almost made it. Or he could lie. Michael Bisping chose to lie. He secretly had a prosthetic eye lens put in to make his eye look normal. He then learned how to cheat the vision tests. He would memorize the letters on the bottom line of the eye chart. He would get his friends to flash the chart to him from a distance. When the commission doctors would point to the bottom line and ask him to read it, he would recite the letters from memory. He was now, for all intents and purposes, legally blind in his right eye. He had 0 peripheral vision on his right side. If a punch came from that angle, he would never see it. He did not care. He would fight with one eye before he would stop fighting at all. His comeback, fighting with one eye, was a disaster. He lost to a fighter named Tim Kennedy, looking slow and unsure of himself. The world wrote him off. He was done. A washed-up, one-eyed veteran, clinging to a career that was long gone. But he kept going. He won his next fight, a brutal TKO of a dangerous fighter named Kung Lu, which earned him a Performance of the Night bonus. Then he lost his next fight. He was stuck in this pattern: win one, lose one. He was still the gatekeeper. Then, in February 2016, he got the call he had been waiting for his entire life. The UFC was holding an event in his home country, in London, England. The original main event had fallen through. They needed a new opponent for the man Bisping, and the entire world considered the greatest fighter of all time, Anderson "the Spider" Silva. This was the man Bisping had been chasing for a decade. Even with one eye, even as a massive underdog, he said yes. The fight was a 5-round war. In the first round, Bisping used his boxing, his pressure, and his heart. He did the unthinkable. He dropped Anderson Silva with a left hook. The crowd went insane. He did it again in the second round, landing hard and winning the round. He was beating the legend. Then came the end of the third round. This was the moment from the video. Bisping was pressing forward, and in an exchange, his mouthpiece was knocked out. He looked to the referee, Herb Dean, for a moment, pointing to his mouth, asking for a pause. It was a fatal rookie mistake. The rule is to protect yourself at all times. Anderson Silva, a master of timing, saw the opening. He did not hit Bisping with a dirty knee, as the video's title says. He hit him with a perfect, legal, flying knee, right as Bisping turned his head. Connected clean on the chin. Bisping crumpled to the canvas, saved from unconsciousness only by the mat. The bell to end the round rang at the exact same instant. It was chaos. Silva, believing he had won, climbed the cage and began to celebrate. The referee, Herb Dean, was yelling that the fight was not over, that it was only the end of the round. Bisping was on his back, his face a mask of blood, officials and his team flooding the cage. He was dazed, confused, and horribly hurt, but he was not beaten. He was dragged to his corner. His coaches screamed at him. He was still in the fight. He had to get up. He stood on wobbly legs. The fourth round began. He was still hurt, but he did the only thing he knew how to do. He moved forward. He pressed the action, throwing punches, his face bleeding, his one good eye locked on his target. He survived the round. In the fifth and final round, Bisping was hurt again by a front kick to the face. But he would not fall. He kept coming forward, kept throwing, until the final bell rang. Michael Bisping stood in the center of the cage, his face leaking blood from a dozen cuts, his right eye a useless prosthetic, his left eye swollen and bruised. The announcer read the scores. 48-47, 48-47, 48-47. For the winner, by unanimous decision, Michael, the Count, Bisping. The arena in London exploded. He had done it. The one-eyed man, the eternal underdog, the washed-up gatekeeper, had beaten the greatest fighter who had ever lived. He fell to his knees, crying, a lifetime of doubt and failure and pain washing away. It was the greatest moment of his career. He had finally won the big one. And, just 17 days later, his phone would ring with an offer that would change his life forever.